Train by day, Kyle Wigginton podcast by night, all day.
Yeah, when was the last podcast? It was like...
it was a long time ago, wasn't it?
I feel like it's been a year or something. It's been
that long? No fucking way.
It may be. It's been a long time.
Dude, I have no concept of time anymore. It's
we should
bad.
just look it up. When was the last time?
It's so bad, dude. My concept of time is just like shot.
Life is just happening. Let's see. A year since the last one.
Well, we have a lot talked about, right?
Yeah. So we did the Heckler. The Heckler was here. We did a short film. It got people enjoyed it.
Okay, you got to tell the story first. Of the fiasco.
The fiasco. Yeah. So for the people that don't know, yeah, there was some switch ups in the role, the casting. I ended up directing myself. We had somebody drop, and that person would have been perfect for it. And I wanted nothing but good things, you know.
Hey, I warned him, using a first-time person as an actor. Yeah,
it was weird because what I'm trying, I learned a lot in that. Basically, I was trying to create this faux blend between realism and you know, it's been done before somewhat. You know, people have made things where it's, you know, it's...
Well, yeah, because we do that every Tuesday here anyway.
Yeah, it was, yeah. I mean, we do. I guess what I realized is that when you take people's likeness and you try and make a film about them, or not about them, but about your life, and then blending it with their life, and then like people don't, comedians egotistical, they don't respond well. I mean, I wasn't trying to, I guess the thing is, so what happened was all right. So I had a script that I wrote about me, about my life, about being an open mic comedian, going, I want to be an open micer, but I'm scared to death. But I have this feeling and it won't go away, and I have to face it. There's no other option. Mm-hmm. I don't know why. I don't know how. I don't know, you know, why. I mean, actually why. Like, I know that I have this dream and I have to honor it, and it's not going away. It's just like a nagging feeling of I have to do this. So I wrote, you know, I knew what that was like. I was tasked with, you know, because of this, getting my master's thesis, they're going, okay, write a short film. And I've always denied them and denied myself the opportunity to just go, let's take a full swing. Let's actually go for it. And so I was like, all right, fine. I'll actually try and write my best short film, like, and be vulnerable, which is what they said, write what you know, be vulnerable. So I was like, okay, I'm going to actually do this. And then something hit me. I'm like, oh, a short film is about a moment in your life. It's one moment. It's not like some broad, that's people try and do a giant. That's what we did with our first film. Our first short film. We tried to do this big thing where it's all about this guy's life, Twohy, the metal detectorist, and it's his father issues and all these things. And like, it was just way too much.
Too much, yeah.
Yeah. And then there's people get too ethereal. They're too light, whatever. But like, it's a moment. For me, one of the biggest moments in my life was deciding to like get on stage and do that, and recognizing that I have to honor my dreams. So and face it, even though I know you're going to bomb, you know you're going to bomb, you know, it's going to be terrible. Another thing is your ego. This is what I love. This is what I love about stand-up. One of the things I love is that you don't have a choice. You are going to be seen as exactly who you are. All these this dream you have in your head and walking around and what you think you are. No, you are who you are to the stage. You are where you are in your craft. You are who you are, and you can't lie behind that. So facing your fear of doing this dream is partly coming to terms with reality of your ego. If you have an overinflated ego, which a lot of comedians do, they have an overinflated, I'm this guy. I'm going to be so great. Maybe they see themselves and they can feel their dream, like where they're going to be.
And that's cool too.
And that's cool. And you need that confidence, but there's also that sheer reality check of like, I'm not there yet. And I'm not going to be there for a long time. And you have to honor that. So anyway, so I write this thing in a hotel room in LA as I'm doing my Groundlings improv, because, you know, I have to write it during the summer and summer's coming to an end. I'm studying improv in California at the Groundlings, and which was great. Went well, by the way, passed, got into the next level. Cool. Awesome. Great. But then, I write this thing and then I'm like, well, I don't like dealing with actors, and there's nothing I like worse, hate more than like being like, oh, well, I guess I'm making a legit film, so I have to use real actors. And then the real actors are like, kind of like, they're just like not there yet, or I don't know. It's just, there's something about using.
What's your qualm with actors?
I don't have a qualm with actors. My qualm is with getting the wrong, like it's the amateur circuit. Like basically you get like, first of all, like the casting is really difficult. It takes a long time to do it right. And to get the people that are meant for the part, it's like they're probably out of your price range, or they're amateur and they're pretty good, but they're not quite there. Or I don't know. I guess I just had this idea of like, I want to put my friends on, and I want them to
play themselves, basically.
Yeah. I want them to play themselves, and I want to write something that's like faux, you know, reality, faux, false. So anyway, I come up with this idea of the Heckler. The Heckler is the idea of facing yourself, that the heckler is really you, that you're the one that is prohibiting yourself all of this growth. And so I write this thing. It's about you facing yourself and then getting on stage. And I have this guy that I think is perfect for it, because I'm a year and a half into doing stand-up. I've done it 100 times at this point. And I'm like, well, I'm not really the guy. And they also tell me you can't act in your own thing. So I'm like,
so they told you?
Yeah. You can't act in your own thing.
So did they get mad at you because you did?
No, they understood that, you know,
it's a weird situation.
Yeah. They understood that it was like, I didn't have a choice, and I was the only person who knew and also and after seeing my performance, they were like, all right, well, we get it. Like you can act. It wasn't like always, you know, I'm some sort of phenomenal. There were issues with my acting, but like I was good for it. Yeah. And it worked out. I mean, I wasn't perfect.
I understand because you're a handsome guy.
Oh yeah.
So when it comes to like playing that role that you were playing there, it would have been way better if the other guy would have stuck to it. Yeah. Because he just had a unique young look, you know?
That's what it is. Yeah. He had a unique young look, and he had that. It wasn't his first time either, but he has this really funny, great awkwardness that I love, and I loved him for it, and I would always see him on stage. I'm like, that's just funny. He's great at it, and I think if he could translate that over to film though, that would be amazing. Yeah, it would be great. It would have been good. So I basically fast forward we're in the middle of shooting. We get to this place, and things just got weird. Egos got involved, and basically like that blend between reality and fiction got really enmeshed. And that's where I learned a lot. I was like, oh my gosh, because I prepped everything. I prepped all. I was like, okay, we have the location, we have the actors, we have. The only thing I didn't prep for was like my main actor being like, I don't like the way you're using my likeness. And that was where I was like,
I still don't get that.
Well, what happened was it's the ego. It's the
he's an actor.
He's not though. He's an open micer. He has acted before, but I think what happened was literally what it's complicated, but I think first of all, he was on drugs. I think he's on drugs. I think he's an open micer. So I don't know. He's an amateur comedian. He's not necessarily comfortable with who he is yet as a performer. So he didn't want me to pigeonhole him into like, you're this person. And I think that he wasn't understanding that was like, there was this blend happening. And then me, like, I think that in the beginning there was some like just straight up, like it was me not respecting like his being an individual and like being, I don't know.
Why do you think
it got very confusing.
But why do you think that why are you trying to put it on yourself? Because I feel like it's all him.
Well,
he walked away from a project that was literally in motion.
Oh yeah, no, there's no question for me that I felt that it was, yeah, I mean, it was, but I'm just trying to like take my own ownership of like, what could I could have done differently and how I could have approached it differently. I mean, no, I definitely think that he misunderstood that like, this is a really good thing for you. Yeah. This is a really good project. You can trust me as a director, but I think it's really hard when you don't know who you are, you're young, and somebody's like, hey, you're doing this thing and you're this person in this thing. And then, but you're trying to figure out who you are in general. So if somebody's trying to pinpoint you, I think it can get really in your head. I think that's what happened. He just got in it. He got way in his head about it, way too much in his head about this. You know what it really is? It's comedians. It's young art. It's young artists. Like it's this ego thing where we think that we're so much greater than we are. And we think that it matters so much more than it is. There's just this great big thing. Cause I had it too. And I still probably have it somewhat, but like, there's this thing where you're like, what I'm doing matters, who I am matters, and I'm going to be taken seriously. And there's just this reality of like, dude, whoa, reality check. Like no one knows who you are. Like no one knows who we are. We're doing this thing. Like it's for fun. Like it could be good. It could be bad. But even if it's great, like I was listening to John Mulaney talk about his dad and his relationship with his dad. He was with David Letterman on his show. And it was, and his dad said, when he told him he wanted to be a comedian, his dad said, he's like, so best case scenario, you're like Steve Martin. Like that's for some people, they don't give a flying fuck about anything to do with comedy. They don't care about your films. They don't care about your little sets. They don't care. It's a big world. But when you're that self-involved and you're that self-centric, you're thinking about you, number one, and you're not thinking about like, we have 20 people that are being paid. We have a location. I have a responsibility to this project, to this thing. And
that's why you use professional actors.
And that's why you use professional actors.
I thought he was just,
I thought
he was just nervous.
Yeah. Well, it was. I think it was. I think he was drawn away from it because of part of what we said, but also because, I just don't think it was meant to be. I think that's part of it. It was just like not meant to be. It's like we can analyze it all we want, but like at the end of the day, it was just like, it wasn't, dude, and it works out though.
That's what I'm saying. I'm so proud of you that you stepped in and still fucking got it done. Like that's huge.
Well,
and
thanks.
Just seeing, I've directed and acted and stuff before too, and done it at the same time as well. And it's a process.
Yeah.
Like being on both sides of the camera, I don't think there are that many people that can pull it off and do it well.
Well, the only reason I was the only reason I was able to do it is because I'd done it before. Yeah. And because I had a really good team. And also we had worked out the shot list and everything prior. Like I normally what I had been like the last couple times we did it twice before, and I had tried to do everything, and because I didn't do the shot list, because I didn't my shots were terrible. Like I was on the job trying to do multiple jobs and it didn't work.
No, it's too much. Yeah.
I learned that the prep you got to do, if you're going to do direct and act, you have got to do, you have to do the prep before anyway, but that was what saved me, was that I had it all sort of planned out. And it was impressive, man. Just sitting on the sidelines, watching you guys do your thing. It was impressive. Yeah, man. It was fun. And thank you for letting us use this place. And Thank you for setting that up and also acting in it. And you were great, man. It was awesome. It was very helpful. You were great. And I couldn't have done it without you, literally. So thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. No, I
was glad to be a part of it, man. So have you showed it at places too now?
Yeah, I haven't like shopped it around or anything. I haven't really gone to any festivals. I got really disillusioned with the festival thing. It feels like it's just you're paying to like just like have it go.
Yeah,
like
that's what it kind of feels like. It's a couple of them that I've went to with films in the past. They're fun because we won awards at the festivals. But there are a lot of people that just they pay to get in. They just go and sit and watch the other films. It's like a community thing.
Yeah, I haven't done enough to even know, but it just feels like a racket. It feels like a lot of these are just like coming up and it's like, yeah, take people's money and give them, hope with their dreams. And then just like, maybe there'll be somebody in the audience, but like, I just think that you need serious backing to get it into, to get, momentum behind it. Or, I don't know. I basically, I plan on shooting the next episode of it. So it turned from a short to an episodic, and basically my thesis is going to be like another episode or two. It's going to be two, but I think it's probably just going to be one more episode, and it's going to be, and I'm going to try and just present it to like a streamer and be like, listen, this is, I've made 2 episodes. They're clearly, I wanted to do 3, maybe I will, but like, look, I can repeat this. It's good. The premise is fine. And it's something new. It's definitely new. And it's I believe in it. I
think it's good. I think everyone that was involved in it did a good job. I will say with the festival thing, we used to have one in Arkansas, and like I said, the community aspect of it was what was cool about it, because we would all make films all throughout the year. And then at that one time, we would all come and enter that festival, and we would just fucking hang out and get drunk and watch each other's films. Yeah. So it was kind of the cool community aspect around it. But when it comes to actually selling a film, you got to get the episode made, the first one, and then pitch it to somebody. And if they like the pitch, they'll probably give you some money to make some more. Or if you make a feature film, then they'll buy it and put it on a streaming platform.
That's really what I want, is just to
if you can make a product, you can sell it.
Yeah, I really just want to get paid to do the whole limited miniseries, have it put on something, and then have that as a learning experience, and also like to get people some actual money, so that it's not just like, they're not getting paid. I mean, we didn't pay the actors, the only people who got paid really was the crew. Yeah. And which is like just as well, because they're the only ones that are really doing like, I mean, the actors are getting the credit, but like, that
you could do a point system for them.
Yeah.
Give them some back end points. That's what we did with the latest feature that we all did on. We did a point system and volunteer time. If it doesn't make any money, it's okay.
Yeah. I'm cool.
We still got one made.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. So for those watching, if you've made it this far, the Heckler, it's on my YouTube channel. I think, unless it got taken off. I've been having that issue lately with my YouTube, because it says that they're on there, but it's like they're not. Like,
I'll check. I'll put a link into the bio too whenever I post this.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, like I did some other sketches since then that were like, I guess risque for the YouTube monitoring, and well, it was my stand up. I did it was multiple things, but I did the Trump assassination and Biden assassination. I did those impressions, and then that was when it was like, I don't know.
Why can't you put those on there though?
I think it's just political and
dude,
I don't know. I don't know why. I think there definitely were like shadow banned. Like they were not on. It said they're on in my thing, and then if you look it up, it's like really hard to look, and then it's like not there.
The algorithms weren't taking them up.
Yeah, it was just saying like, it's a big claim to say it's shadow banned, but it really did look like it was like this. They're saying it's not allowed, and then they're saying, well, no, now it's allowed, but then it's not on my, like I can't see it, and so people were like, "Where's the?" It just like, so that's frustrating. But
I really struggle with this freedom of speech these days, because it's almost like it's only freedom of speech when you say what the algorithm wants you to say.
Yeah. I think that's happening for sure. I mean, that's the frustrating thing, is like I'm making jokes, like it's just jokes. Like there's not any sort of malicious intent. I want to shit on everybody. I don't have a side. I think everybody should be called on their bullshit, and it should just be taken as like life, and we're just having fun. But
people take shit too serious. That's the problem.
Yeah.
This is all just a big game.
I don't know. I think it's I think that it's particularly, that's political stuff is particularly sensitive because of the election. So they're just like, all right, we don't even know what this is. We just know it's political, and we don't want, like, we're not going to take the time to like figure this out. We're just, no, the election's coming. No, and I think that's what they're like, but afterward, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe after the election, they're like, whatever. But those are also fun if anyone wants to look. I've got some. I'll
put a link to your YouTube page.
Yeah, that would be fun. It'd be good for the people to see.
One of the podcasts I did last week, I saw two people in a comment section on my Instagram, and they were griping back and forth about blue and red.
Mm-hmm.
Not on my podcast. It was on a girl's page, and I was like, "Here's what we should do." I chimed in. I was like, "You guys should both come on the podcast because she's red and he was blue." And I was like, "You guys debate on the podcast. That'd be awesome." So she shows up for the podcast that day, and he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Well, I guess we got to sit here and talk now," because I really wanted to hear his argument, because like I don't do politics at all. I think it's all just a fucking scam. But I want someone to convince me that Kamala's a good candidate.
Well, I'm here to tell you why. No,
okay. Go for it.
No, I think that the main thing that she's good for is really just exactly why most people want her, which is that she's a woman and she's of color, and like that is good for kids that align with that and that need somebody, that feels like they represent them. I don't think that it's necessarily she's getting in the best way. I don't think she's necessarily, but I do think that to me is why.
But is that really what you want as a leader? Just someone who's a woman and of color?
No.
I feel like there are better candidates out there for that.
I'm just saying that's like, if you look at it just straight up, why people like are voting, that's really
and that's a horrible argument.
A basic viewpoint of like, well, it is good. It is good that like, there's no question that it is good to have like something else representing, to be like, well, yeah, no, it actually is good that we diversify our leadership and that sort of thing. But do I think that she's going to like answer all the problems and do anything differently than the current administration or like it? No, I don't. I think I don't think so. But I do think that at the very basic basis of that, like, yeah, like it's not bad. That's not bad.
No,
but
I will say,
is it worth turning your opinions or voting? That's up to you. But to me, I'm like, well, yeah, no, that's not a bad thing. Like that is a good thing, but not for the exact, not like,
okay, hear me out.
Yeah. No, I hear. Yeah.
I am comfortable with having a woman president.
Sure.
Like I don't give a shit if they're black, white.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a woman, like put a woman in there, but make sure that she can lead.
Yeah. A meritocracy.
I don't think that the one that's a candidate right now can lead.
Yeah.
I think she's a pawn that's going to get moved around.
Well, yeah, I mean, I certainly think that, I don't know. I definitely agree that if she's a part of this administration just going off of sheer like logic, it's like, well, Biden is clearly like has been incapable, like just literally incapable of handling his own anything, faculties for that matter. So if she's going into that position of like literally the apparatus has been set up around just keeping somebody in place to do what they want to do,
right,
whoever they are, or whatever the agenda is, doesn't matter if it's nefarious or not. It's still designed to show somebody what to do. So like it's set up for another person like that, who's just going to do whatever it says. So I agree with that. For sure. But
yeah, Even that, I think her name was Chelsea Gabbard. Like she would have been a better pick, but she's also very opinionated.
Mm-hmm.
So I think she would be hard to control. I think that's why Kamala got the nomination, because she was easy to control.
John Reynolds had a very funny line. He was just like, I'm voting for Kamala. He's like, because she's just sexy as hell. Like, it's like, she's just sexy, dude. Like, and she has a good smile. She's fits the bill. She's, in terms of like, but
you're attracted to her?
No, I mean, no, I'm not like particularly attracted to her, but if I had a choice between her and Hillary Clinton, I would.
Well, yeah, of course. That's not even a choice.
But like, but yeah, yeah, I don't know. I really don't bother myself. Like I'm like you with politics.
Yeah. I just want someone to explain it to me. I'm like, just explain to me what you see in this person. And they always just go, well, it's Trump.
Yeah. Well,
that's not a good reason to vote though.
Yeah. I think
the lesser of two evils.
Sadly, right? Trump, has caused a lot of issues, but the one thing is like with him, I keep looking and being like, is he going to say anything new? Like, is he going to have some sort of like new thing to say? Cause it's just at a broken record at this point. And I kind of like tune in to see what he's going to say. Cause
that's a good point though. Yeah.
And I'm just like, dude, you're not really saying new things. And I don't think the answer, like, I think that Make America Great Again is like,
it's a good slogan, but
it is it though?
It's like slogan, though,
it's really that's the thing. It's kind of passe. It's like you did that last time. Like even his whole like the thing he's leaning on, the Make America Great Again. It's like, dude, you gotta maybe switch it to the next thing.
Dude,
like
he's already got merch made. Okay.
Yeah. Well,
that's selling merch from last
true.
time.
Yeah, that's true.
The MAGA merch.
I had to buy some for my impression, and it was a dirty little secret. I don't know how to.
Was it expensive?
No, it wasn't. And I don't think I bought it from his. Or I did buy one from his official store because I wanted it to be legit. But then it was like too big and weird, so I sent it back. But yeah. But I had to, so I bought one from like Amazon, and I have like 2 Make America Great Again hats, and they're just sitting there, and I'm like, well, they're right underneath my wig, but yeah.
What is Kamala's thing?
Does she have one? She just smiles, and I haven't even taken the time to because I just feel like,
well, you're not going to impersonate her, obviously, right?
I mean,
that'd be a tough one to go for.
I could, it would just have to be really good, and I'd have to do all the others around it so that it like makes sense. But
well, the night that you
I just don't have I don't have I just Biden can't. I'm not doing them anymore. I mean, that's the other thing. Yeah, I realized that they just don't have legs. Like you can't take them further than 4 years, 8 years, which would be good. And I do want to keep,
the skits you did were great with them.
Oh yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I think that was like, I feel like that's the lead up to what you did. Performing them on stage for a long time gave you the foundation to actually do it in a skit and make it and pull it off. Mm-hmm. You did great in that.
Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I think what happened also is that it just felt like I had to say something about each situation, and then I had to put a clip of it up, and I was just like, I don't know. It just got into this mode of like, I have to do it. And then it was like, well, what is this for? And then I was like, is this even like, this just doesn't have legs. Like it also, because I would end my sets always on Biden and Trump. Because it was always the funniest thing. People loved it. But then it's like, well, the election's coming up, so people are anxious, so they don't want to hear about it. They just don't want to think about it. Most of the time. And then also, yeah, Biden's going to be gone, and Trump will be too, probably. And so it's like,
think they're going to off him?
No, but I just think that I just think he's not going to win, and then it's just going to,
it's going to, dude, that'd be a weird thing if she wins, actually.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what's going to happen, but I think it's looking.
When is it? When is the election?
November, isn't it? November.
It's close.
Yeah. So yeah, really close.
Are you going to vote? Do you vote?
Oh man. I don't know. I have to get registered.
I don't even do it. I just let humans do their thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
I live in the world that they create.
Yeah. I'm voting for Biden.
How hilarious!
I want to keep Biden in office. I just want to keep doing my Biden impression. That's the only thing. I just want to keep doing it.
What if everyone literally wrote him in and voted for him? That would be fucking hilarious.
That'd be amazing. I just want to see him do it again because I want to see him just keel over in the middle of a speech, like actually, and then they have to like hold him up and like.
I mean, he's close right now, you know.
Yeah. He's not, I'm very curious how long he will live. Jimmy Carter died in like 99. Like he's just passed. He's so old, but yeah. Anyway,
let's switch subjects.
Yeah.
On to the Olympics.
Yeah.
How was that?
So the Olympics were good. I went to the Olympics. I went to the Paris Olympics. My sister loves horses. She wanted to see Olympic horse riders, so she set up this whole trip.
I didn't know that was a thing. There's Olympic horse riders.
Yeah. It's basically they have cross country, they have dressage, they have
I don't know what any of these things are.
Show jumping. So basically, like dressage is an open arena with no jumps, and the horse goes from point to point and does a different type of like maneuver, and each horse does the same maneuver, same path, and they are judged on their transitions, the way the horse is handling it. They're working with the horse and showing them how to, and it's incredible. These horses are like millions of dollars. Like, I don't know how much money but they're bred for this, and they're incredibly sensitive, and they have these amazing walks, like trotting, and it was crazy. It was, so we were at Versailles for 2 of the events. They went to 3. I went to 2. They went to cross country. Cross country is more of like, it's a track, it's literally like cross country, like running, like we do, where you like run through a forest and then you come out and like
the last laps around the track.
Yeah, maybe something like that. But basically it's like through the forest, and they have jumps in the middle of the forest, and they go through puddles and they run around, and they did that
would be cool
at Versailles. Yeah. So that was cool. I would have liked to see that, but I didn't go to that one because they didn't have enough tickets, but I went. But so they ran around, and that they have jumps, and that's really challenging. And then there's eventing, which is all of them. So you're judged on so you do you do cross country, dressage,
like a decathlon.
Yeah, exactly. And the other one is like show jumping. So show jumping is just like when they jump from jump to jump to jump to jump, and they do like 20. And then they're these huge jumps, the biggest jumps that the horses can do, any horses in the world. And these are like the best horses. And so they jump over, it's like 5 feet, 6 feet. I mean, these horses are like flying through the air, and we saw a couple people not hit any of the posts, because the posts will fall and a lot of them, they'll have refusals too, where the horse will like run up and then stop and won't go. And then you just hear the audience like, it's like, oh.
Is that not weird for an Olympic event though?
To have a horse, to have an animal,
to do the horses, because it's not really even humans in, right?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I mean, by that token, to be like, well, what about kayakers? They're riding like a thing, or like a pole vault.
It's still human power.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't know. I don't know. I think it is an interesting. I mean, I think it was the most bougie on the face of it thing I've ever done in my life, watching horses jump at Versailles. But
how long were you there when you went? It was like all day long?
It was, a couple hours, 3 hours, 4 hours. Like, it was a kind of not all day affair, but it was like, for 3 hours, you're just sitting there, like going from watching. But, the funny thing, was the most bougie, glamorous thing I've ever done. But at the same time, it was actually not as bougie, because you had to walk like 3 miles there and back to get into the venue for safety, for like security. So you had to walk like that, and then you were out in the sun, just being drilled by the sun the whole time, like watching them, like, oh, I'm really enjoying this, and just being baked like sardines in like the middle of like July heat, and so it was you had to, yeah, I mean, it was hot, and so it was cool, it was amazing, but it was, yeah, so that was cool.
Yeah, I saw your pictures, and I was wondering if you had to buy tickets to like the certain event, or if you could buy like a one overall ticket to let you get into like all the different venues or something.
Yeah. So it was a raffle. It was like my sister had entered into a raffle a year before. And then when you have that raffle, you're given so many tickets. And when you're given so many tickets, you go, okay, well, I want to go here for this day. This is this day. And we could have gone to more events if we had less people, but we had like 5, and then we had 4. And it was, so it was like, we only did like 6. Oh yeah. 6. Cause we did those 4 horse events, and then we did archery. We saw archery in front of the Invalides, which is the armory, like museum. And then
that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to revisit. I went and saw, the Invalides, museum when I was there years before, and it was really cool to see that. And yeah, archery was crazy. They're just like 250 yards, and then just the guy gets an 8, and you're like, that guy fucking sucks.
250 yards away?
Yeah, it would be like 250 yards, and then you'd get like a 7 or an 8, and you're just like, pathetic, disgusting. Get out of my fucking sight.
Dude, even pulling that bow back would be tough.
That thing is a very complicated apparatus. There's a lot going on those things, but I think archery would be one of the few things, I think, if you really just decided one day I'm going to be in the Olympics, it's like one of the few things where you may have a slight possibility where
you're
like
shooting too, though. What's the other?
Yeah, shooting as well. I think you could possibly, but like ping pong.
Oh no, never.
Like tennis,
dude, those guys in ping
swimming,
pong are insane.
Yeah, you can't.
And I feel like swimming, you got to be a genetic freak to be good at swimming.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you do. Like,
doesn't that makes sense though? The Olympics would be genetic freaks.
It's genetic freaks, and then just people who just did it every single day, like basically every week, just for their whole, since the childhood, just couldn't. Yeah, I don't know. That's a whole nother.
So here's the Olympics that I want to go to, Chance. Whenever they create an Olympics where anyone can enter and they can take whatever they want to, like basically the steroid Olympics, that's the one I want to go to.
That's
I want to see some records get broken.
I want to see, that would be insane. That'd be crazy to just see like how far science could actually take you. You'd have a lot of people die, but
that's okay.
It would be crazy.
Enter at your own risk.
Yes, I like that.
I mean, there are people that are taking all these steroids now anyway. We might as well throw them in a competition and see what happens.
Yeah, I wanted to see the monster. I want to see monster truck. I want to see like Olympic I want to see Olympic monster truck. That's what I kept joking about. It's like, people were like, what are you going to see? I'm like, I'm going to see the monster trucks. They're like, do they have monster trucks? I'm like, no, but they should.
Not yet.
They need to have a motor Olympics where they have anything. Like right now, it's all human strength. Like, okay, you have the horse. That's the closest thing to that. But like, other than that, like they don't have any like motorized anything. It's all human power, really. It would be amazing to have like the best of the best in motors, or I don't know. Like,
I mean, they might as well. They added in fucking breakdancing this year.
Yeah, what about that? Yeah, I didn't even watch that, but
I heard it was the only year they're going to do it too, probably because of that Australian chick. Like the only one that went viral was the one that just went in there and played around.
Oh God. Yeah. It's crazy because it actually is. I mean, if you can have synchronized swimming, you should have breakdancing, but because breakdancing is super impressive when you're on the street and you're just walking in the middle of a city and there's just a guy doing breakdancing like for busking. You're like, oh, like that they are strong. How
do you judge that though?
Yeah,
that's where it comes down. Is like, how do you judge these things?
I mean, a lot of it I feel like comes down to obviously technique and all of the things, but a lot of it is just energy, like the person. Like if you're at their level when they're really good, it's like, who do you like more in terms of who they are and how they're performing. Like, obviously it's, you know, I think that that's one of the reasons why you saw, like, I don't know, like certain gymnasts when they do their floor routine, like they're just, they may have a very similar technique, and like one time, sometimes technique can outweigh the like the personality. But if you have good technique and you have a really good personality and you have a really good song that you're doing it to, and people are just, the crowd likes you, I just think that
I don't like
helps
that
a lot.
I think that takes away from the competition aspect.
Yeah, but I think that we do that inherently. If I think we like that a person wins because you can just feel that they're winning in a way.
We need AI to judge this next year.
Yeah.
The next Olympics, we're gonna have AI judges.
AI judges and Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, take the human element out of it.
Snoop Dogg and AI.
Okay, so let's switch to a serious subject now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to get started with this.
Well, yeah. So I can start it. I was basically in Paris, and yeah, and like I always, people are like, "How was Paris? How was France?" And I have to say, like, yeah, I mean, it was great. It was amazing. But while I was there, I was realizing that I was jacking off, and like I have a wonderful, I'm having a wonderful experience. With like family and my girlfriend, and like my girlfriend and I are healthy and having a good, you know, life in those matters, you know, and
you just still felt compelled to do this.
Yeah. So I just would like, yeah, I had time alone, and I would isolate, and I would, I guess, just want to just act out. I don't know, whatever you want to call it, to just jerk off. And so every time people are like, "How was Paris?" I'm like, it was good, but I was like, why am I doing this? Like, why is this still a thing? Like, why am I still, even though I'm in Paris, I'm at the Olympics, I'm with my family, like I'm on vacation, it's summertime, like I'm with my girlfriend, we're being intimate in a way that is, you know, but yeah, so I was like, something's up. And it had been a long time coming. Like I have thought about it for a long time. And when, you know, and I always felt, I was like, I don't want to watch porn. I don't want to do this. Like, I don't like doing this. It doesn't feel good. Like it's one of those things that in our culture, we just kind of accept it in a way right now.
It's everywhere.
It's everywhere. And yeah. And I felt like, but I just feel like it just is not working for me. Like, I think that it's like drinking. It's like people can drink or they can look at porn or whatever, like with impunity. There's those types of people. But then there's people where like, it just doesn't, for some reason, it's filling the wrong, it's doing something that's not what it's doing for the other person. Like, I think,
how did you, like, what brought that realization on? I know you said you were in Paris, and like, yeah, it's a weird place to have it, but you said you're also having those feelings over here too.
Paris was just like that was kind of like a despairing, like true bottom in a weird way of being like, what the hell is going on? Like, this is not okay. And I don't like it. And I don't know why this is happening. And
to the people out there that would say, man, you were just horny rubbing one out.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say to that? Like, it was more than that?
I would just say that for me, what it is that like, it's been a long time coming that I've pardon the pun, but like some people, they can do things. I don't know. Like, basically I would say that I realized that it's like, it has gotten to the point where it was like heroin, where like that's chemically what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And because my threshold has gotten so high that it became an addictive behavior, because my brain wants to numb out. It doesn't want to feel feelings. It wants to isolate, and it doesn't want to face like emotion. Like, there's this thing that alcoholics say, or I heard an alcoholic say, he was like, there's only one thing that's worse for when everything's going wrong in your life. And it's like, it's when everything's going right. And like, that's kind of how I would describe it. It was like, I'm in this place, everything's going well. I'm with like my girlfriend who I love, and I'm with my family, and we're in this, and I'm just like, but why do I still feel like I want to do this? Like, why do I still feel I need to go off in the corner and numb out and like watch and look at pornography or why do I want to do that? Like, I think there's a lot of reasons, but I think it's been a long time thinking about it and dealing with it. I mean, it's
I think there are a lot of people going through this today.
Yeah.
I was actually telling you a story that happened one night. I was sitting outside the bar. It was late. It was dark outside. And a kid rode up on his bicycle and he was like, yo, someone lost their purse over there. And I looked in his like basket, his phone sitting in his basket on his bicycle. And it was people having sex.
Yeah.
And I was like, bro, are you watching porn on your phone? Riding around on your bicycle? And he's
just
like,
doing a cycle and wank.
yeah, he wasn't even wanking. He was just watching porn. And I'm like, that's why when you were telling me this the other day, we were having this conversation, I was like, I think this is something that a lot of people are going through today because of how easily accessible these things are. And at a very young age, you're vulnerable to this. Like, I think I'm at the age where I was like just past it before it all came on.
I think that sounds right. No, 100%. I definitely agree 1,000,000% that this is an epidemic. It is a product of technology, and it's a product of us being apes still. Like, we are not. That's why I don't feel ashamed. Like, I'm not like talking about it to me is like, there's aspects of it that I am reticent to share publicly, but there's the idea of, oh yeah, like I was 14 when I had a computer as a child. And like, yeah, I started watching porn, and like now I'm 32 and like, it's still hard to get off of it. Like, well, yeah, that's because porn is like literally crack, and it's not like crack basically is like, you need more of that, but sex is like, I need different. So that's why it makes more sense that you spend more time looking at more stuff, or you get into different categories or whatever it is. But like, I'm not ashamed because I'm still an ape. Like, I'm still have the hardwiring where like, I don't need this insane dopamine hit to get me to, to get that high. Like, we're just apes, and we've been given this amazing, like this incredible device that literally you can have it next to your bed or your computer, whatever. You have HD, you have the whole, like, just thousands and thousands and thousands and hundreds and millions and
everything,
billions of videos of people, and you can just veg out and numb out and not think about your life and not feel your feelings, because that's what it does. You'll masturbate and you orgasm, and that your dopamine level hits a certain high, your endorphins, your serotonin, all that stuff hits a high. And then the outside world, it's just like heroin. The outside world, all those priorities of this. Yeah. The outside world's boring now, because you've had this insane high. So you're looking at the outside world. That's why you have kids, like boys in high school, falling behind, because they don't want to sit there and in class learning things, because they like not. This is not the case for every kid, but I do believe that pornography and gaming and these, like the social media, like, it distorts your
I can see that,
your dopamine levels. So you become really, you want to watch this stuff, you want to, whatever. And then and then real life is boring now. Like,
well, I'll even take it a step further. I was having a conversation with one of my friends in Arkansas. It's on a podcast previously.
Yeah.
But he was saying that his son would rather watch people play games online than to actually play the games. And I was like, that's a dangerous place to go, because eventually he's going to be watching people have sex rather than trying to pursue it. And we were kind of exploring that outlet, and it's the anxiety of actually playing these video games can build up, which is the same anxiety you have when you're talking to females.
Mhm.
Am I going to get rejected? Am I going to do this? And you can just go online and have whatever you want. And then the rejection you don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing. And I think we have fear of things not working out. We have fear of, that's why I think it became like indirect opposition to my girlfriend, because it was like, I'm being beckoned to get closer to somebody and to be vulnerable and to share my feelings and to rely on somebody. I don't want to rely on anybody, because the people that I relied on when I was a child, like my parents, were unable to be there emotionally because they're, depressed. They went through divorce. They didn't have parents of their own that were able to be there for them. So they were not able to be there for me emotionally. So when I was like 8 years old and, I figured out how to jack off, it was like, hell yeah, I'm going to cause I don't have any, this is how I get my dopamine up. This is how I serve, how I numb out, because it's just, life is too much. This is too hard. I don't know what to do. I didn't have anywhere to turn. And in the beginning, it's kind of a savior, because you're able to process, relax, kind of do the thing. But eventually life starts to get better. And then you're like, why am I still doing this? Mm-hmm. And that's what kind of happens, is like, I have a girlfriend. I want to be with this person. I want to, but I have this whole self-centered side of me that's like, no, I don't want to rely on you. I don't want to, because I'm afraid and because I'm fearful. It's usually self-centered fear. And
but did you realize this, or did she play a part in it too?
It was a long.
Could she tell?
So we were both like, when I was masturbating, and I was like, she was like, so you're looking at porn? I'm like, I don't really like the way that makes you you feel differently. Like, you seem different when you do it. And I knew it too. I was like, I don't really like this. Like, this would be cool. Not from any sort of spiritual thing or whatever. I just was like, I don't like the way this feels. And why do I still need to do this if I'm, whatever. And the idea was, well, I'm just horny. So I do it, whatever. It's like, I'm like a guy, I'm an everybody guy, but the truth is that your emotions, when you're faced with something that your body doesn't like, or that's your emotional palate, isn't prepped for, you don't want to face it. You don't want to face life. You actually will get horny in order to chase the numb. So you'll have some, and it can be good feelings, bad feelings, but just feelings will come. And then you're like, you just get horny. And then you're like, okay, well, I have to go numb out. So it's actually you getting turned on as a response to your body wanting to numb those feelings because they're overwhelming, because and so, yeah. So
interesting. I didn't think about it that way.
So that's
when it's a problem.
Yeah. And that's what I realized was, at first it was like we were both together. And then it was like, now I've realized, no, I have to do this for me. I can't do this for it. You can't do, you can't be sober from something for somebody else. It has to be for you and your relationship to your your God, your higher power, whatever you want to call it. But it's been a year and a half of really trying to be like, all right, I'm going to stop. And then not being able to stop, and then not being able to stop, and then going a long way, and then not being able to stop. And then, so
you don't masturbate at all anymore.
Yeah, that's the idea. Yeah. Not to, but
you still get off with your girlfriend.
Well, that's where it gets technical and interesting, because some people would say that you need to be married. So there's this idea of well, do you be married? Yeah, I don't know.
It's a human construct.
That's what I'm trying to figure out for myself. I don't know. I definitely think that if you're going to, whatever it is, it has to be in love, and it can't be in lust.
Right.
That's the whole thing. If you're going to be with your girlfriend, it can't be codependent lust where you're just serving each other as or boyfriend or partner, anybody.
But what's wrong with that? You're still with a human.
Yeah.
And you're not doing it by yourself. So it is and you guys have been together for a long time.
Yeah.
So I would say that it's
almost 2 years now. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that, I'm sure you're talking to people that know way more than I do about these things.
Yeah.
But to me, it just makes sense that you're with your partner.
I'm still trying to figure it out. I think I agree. I think it's just when you're trying to get off of it, when you're trying to get that desire to not do it that when you have sex or, whatever, that it just gets harder for your brain to go away from it. That like it needs a period of like to get, it's like it's like other things where you need to have that sobriety in order to let your mind relax off of it in the beginning, because the cravings and the sensitization, like all the things that addiction they talk about with any type of drug, is real. Like it's the same thing. Like, and that's why I compare it to heroin and being a junkie. It's like which is a tough word on it, but basically like that you have sensitization, your brain creates all of these reasons why you should. You all of a sudden I'm like walking around and it's like I see a woman and it's like whoa, like that. And that would have never turned me on that much before because I would have been able to, zone out with pornography or whatever. And then I would see this normal woman in real life.
Saying now you do this?
No, not as much. But right when I first started, it was like the sensitization is just your body's wanting to, it's the neuro pathway wanting to go back to. So it creates all this sensitization of like, oh, I have to have this. This is more attractive.
Well, I mean,
this, so.
I'll tell you. So like, this is a dangerous street to be on. There's a lot of very attractive women on the street.
Sure.
Dude, I sit here all the time and I'm like, dude, she's fucking beautiful. I'd love to be with her.
Yeah.
But I'm not like sitting here getting rock hard.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that's not necessarily what it is either. I'm not sitting, but I'm saying like you'll be more focused on it than you might before. Like sensitization.
Oh, yeah. As soon as they leave, I'm like, yeah, whatever.
It's the same thing as like when you're hungry, when you're hungry and then you walk by a place that has food and you smell it and it smells better. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. It's literally, that's all sensitization is. It's just,
I think that more people should look at other substances, kind of the way you're talking about masturbation right now. Like for instance, sugar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sugar, caffeine, all these things are literally just stimulating your chemical factory and making you want more.
Yeah. And
I think we don't look at ourselves like we're just animals and we're being stimulated by everything around us.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's been a lot of cases made about like the antidepressants and how that's fueling, sociopathic, things in like the corporate world and like
you're more likely to fuck somebody over if you're on antidepressants because you won't feel it.
Yeah, basically like you can numb out and just be like basically do work, just work all the time, work, like be a workaholic, and you don't feel your feelings of like, hey, like you need a break because you're on antidepressants. So your highs aren't as high, lows aren't as low, and you can just kind of keep doing whatever it is that you're doing in order to get what you want. And then, yeah, so it's like you have an edge because you can't feel. So your corporate prowess is stronger because you aren't functioning. You're functioning as like as a cog in the machine rather than a human being who's like, yeah, I don't want to not be with my family today.
I feel like you got to be at the top before you start taking that shit though, because if you're at the bottom and you're taking that, then you might fuck over the wrong guy. Because if you don't even because you're not respecting your boss either at that point, right?
Yeah, I think it's just, I think, yeah, I mean, there's a ton of people, it's like 60% of women or something are like on like these antidepressants. Like it's insane. It's like, and I think it's at a certain age group. I think it's like 60 to, or like 50 to 70 years old women or something. Like,
why?
It's like 60% or something. It's a lot of,
I would think that it would be women. This is going to be bad, but I would think women at 30 would start getting on. Oh shit. The camera went off.
Oh,
God damn.
It's all right.
You got to go.
No.
I'm going to continue this conversation, but we're not going to have camera. So
that's okay. Yeah. I mean, whatever you want to do.
Yeah. We'll just go with the audio. We'll roll with the audio after this.
That sounds good.
Yeah. I would think that after, 26 women are pretty much expired anyway. So
Jesus. Yeah. I think, no,
it's dude, the amount of people that are on antidepressants, and not just antidepressants, but like Adderall and shit too. It's insane.
Yes. Yeah. It's
but that's the world we live in, right? And that, because if you're working in a corporate facility and everyone around you is taking Adderall, then you got to get an edge too, right?
Yeah.
Or you're not going to compete.
I mean, I think I think everybody's sort of like it's the golden calf. It's like people are just chasing this idea of like, if I have this much money, it's groupthink. It's like, if I have this much money and, if I, get this promotion and, some people are genuinely passionate and they just get to the right places and they do it. And it's a part of they're perfectly healthy. But I think other people are, they're forcing themselves into like this, they get stuck in the corporate ladder because it pays so much and they believe they need to, or I don't know. It's
Do you think you would think differently if you weren't you? And you know what I mean by this? The fact that you pulled up today in that and,
Oh yeah. No, I think that, I'm a particularly just an anomaly. I mean, literally, I am an anomaly in terms of like finances and that sort of thing. So yeah, I think I don't understand that this is one of my great strengths and weaknesses, that I understand what it's like to be born into money and what it's like to have it not fill your void, to have, tumultuous family issues because of it, or to have lack of drive because the odds of me like accomplishing something and then making as much as we already, that my family has, it's like, it's not likely, it's just not, it's especially in today's world. There's more people, more talent, more, so.
But those people are hungry.
They're hungry.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the other thing. They're hungry. But it also gives me the privilege to know that, to know what it's like to, I could feel people's resentment when they talk to me. Like, I didn't used to be able to do that, but like now I can recognize them, like, oh, it's not me. I'm not the problem. I'm in this lucky position and I'm a steward and I have to be,
surely not your friends though.
Well, that's the other thing. That's learning. That's been getting older, is realizing, well, like this person is like not really like, they're being, they're resentful of my position, and I do the same thing, but with different things, like with stand up. It's like I can feel myself getting resentful at times, just like, fuck this guy. Like he's way better than me. It's, it's like that talent. It's like, I could be better. He doesn't deserve that. I could be doing that. But that's just your brain.
I don't know, man. I don't get that at all. Cause I think at the end of the day, we're all just monkeys that can die instantly.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm just like happy to be here.
Yeah. I mean, it's, money is, the crazy thing about money is that it's like, it's a litmus test for your emotional sobriety, whatever you want to call it, but like your emotional palate or your just well-being. Like it really can reveal people's weaknesses and, and what they really care about. And there's so many things.
So the guy who first hired me to work at this place, not the guy now, but the other guy, I think he was around my age, and his mom married into oil money, like billionaire overnight kind of thing.
Sure.
So this guy never had to work for a thing in his life. And he is the negative side of what happens whenever you've never had to work.
Yes.
And you just like fall into money. Dude, he is the worst human I've ever met in my life. And he has money that he can just throw at things.
It's a souring. It's everything that they say that it is in history and in all the parables. It's like, when you have that, it's power and it corrupts absolutely. Like money is power. It corrupts absolutely. You have to constantly give it away in order to maintain like peace of mind and a healthy relationship to it. Yeah, no, I've seen a lot of that. And people value, the wrong things and it leads them to that. But yeah, I definitely have been that person for sure.
I tell the story real quick.
Yeah.
So whenever the bar transferred ownership,
yes,
he was not in the deal. His mother made the deal. She sold everything in the bar and he was mad about it. And we're talking about a 38-year-old man who's mad that his mother sold the bar.
Yes.
So I think it was a comedy night. It was a comedy night one night, and he hires this 7-foot tall bouncer, and he comes in here, and I was sitting over at the little the bar over there.
Yeah.
And they walk in, and he just starts taking paintings off the wall.
Wow.
And I was like, what are you doing? And he's like, this is mine. I own it. And I was like, no, you don't. Everything transferred in when the bar was sold. Mm-hmm. And he's like, my mother. And I was like, what the fuck is happening right now? And there was a guy next to me, and he's like, dude, are you going to stop him? Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, I'm not going to stop him. And he's like, do you want me to stop him? And I'm like, no, just stay here. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you how dumb this guy is. As soon as he left the bar, I went and pulled the camera footage, and I sent it to his lawyer, and I said, dude, he stole a priceless work of art off our wall. Mm-hmm. Like, if he ever comes back in the bar again, he's done.
Man, what I have to say to that is money.
The difference between street smarts and not.
Money keeps, I see it all the time with kids with rich parents, is they stay in, they basically, the money infantilizes them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The money keeps them in a position where they're subservient to their parent, because to be taken off the money would be to be stop sucking the teat.
That's the crack too.
So
dude.
they stay as a child, and their psyche stays as a child, and then they sour and they become, what's Nero, they become these little tyrants.
Dude, that's absolutely what he is.
Yeah, it's so real.
I know my personality, mm-hmm. and whenever I meet people like that, he wanted me to hang out with him all the time. And I'm like, dude, I'm never hanging out with you, because I know that if I'm near you, I'm going to correct what you're doing. That's a mistake. And you're going to get mad at me, and it's going to blow up out of fucking. Yeah. So
we're not going to want to hang out with me anymore.
Yeah. I'm just going to stay as far away from you as I can.
That's probably a good idea, because it doesn't sound like he's a very healthy. Yeah.
But that's why it's so interesting to be around you too, because you're very different.
Yeah. I mean, I've wanted to do stand up. I don't think I'm necessarily capable. The audience doesn't necessarily like to hear that the person that is in front of them telling them jokes is money.
Mm-hmm. No, they want you to be depressed. That's what they want.
They want me to be depressed.
Yeah.
They want me to be in the shit with them, or they want to laugh at me, whatever. But I have so many insights on it that it's like, it feels like eventually one day, maybe if I'm able to, get to that point, I would have a lot of material based on that. But I mean, I think that I had a lot of things that happened, and money. I had my grandmother was very giving. She was a philanthropist, so she gave a ton of money for that cause. And then I've also seen what money does, like a lot. And I've done it myself, and and I'm at the best place. Like, the person that you're seeing now is like different from even, 3 years ago with money, mm-hmm. Like, I still like nice things, but I recognize that I'm a steward of my great grandfather and my family and of life. I'm just a steward of life, of a person who is in this position of like, what do you do when you're in this position? What do you use it for? Who are you? What do you care about? What do you feel a sense of duty? Are you going to take care of somebody? Are you going to, and I'm full of shit too. Like, I still buy things that I shouldn't buy, or like,
yeah, but I think that even one of the cool things you just did was you made a fucking movie with all your friends, and like, you foot the bill for that. Like, that's dope as hell.
Well, thanks. Yeah. That's another thing. That is like my philanthropy, actually, in a way. Is like, I do see it that way, where eventually I'd like to have somebody else foot the bill, because I'd be able to pay a little bit more to some of these people, or feel more comfortable.
But I mean, getting it off the ground though, you have the capability to do that, where a lot of people don't have that capability. So that's dope that you actually do that.
Well, thanks, man. Thanks for recognizing that. And I genuinely just want to take, I feel that I need to use what I have for, I don't know. I mean, it's this city. I love this city. I love the comedians. I love it. I think that this place has a lot to offer, and I believe that, I believe in it. I believe in it. But I also, I went to, as much as it is me giving, it's also me like using it for my own, goals as well. But like, I remember there was this guy, Professor Punko, and I was a senior in college, and he taught, I think it was energy technology. This was part of my like minor. I was a minor in energy technology and management,
Okay.
which is like
Didn't
oil.
expect that.
Yeah, oil and gas, and it was supposed to be the easy, and it was because you have to get like certain. Anyway, I remember asking him because he was loaded, and because he made this like algae petroleum mixture that like was used for jets. So he like created this like particular
biojet fuel.
Yeah, biojet fuel. And so he was like, worth millions of dollars, and teaching in his free time. And I was like, why are you teaching? One, that was one thing. He's like, well, I love it. That was one thing. This was like not a great answer there. But the other thing I said was like, if you had the ability, like if you had the money you have now when you were my age, what would you do? And he said, I would invest in myself. And I was like, okay, remembering that. And then I also asked another person from Second City when I was at Second City, at their training program. And I was like, if you had $1 million, what would you do with it? And, just as like, how people ask those questions. Like, I didn't want to like be like, so I have all this money, and and it's not like I'm not Elon Musk. I'm not, it's a old family hair, it's dying. It's slowly trickling, and it's going to be gone. And then, in a generation,
you'll put it back.
Yeah. We'll see.
What the person say though?
But the person said they were like, I would invest in like my own projects. And, I would, first they laughed. First they were like, this motherfucker in the back with that nice watch. Like, what do you got in the bank? Like and I was like, fuck yeah, I guess it's not that unobvious. I look like that guy, particularly then. But then the guy kind of took me seriously, and he was like, yeah, I would just use it to invest in my projects.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been doing.
I think the people around you are also your projects in a way. Not in like a weird way, but I mean, like they're your friends. You want to help them grow as well as you want to. I think that's what's cool about using those guys.
Yeah.
Is that you're actually helping them grow their careers as well.
Well, that's kind of the idea of the heckler is kind of like facing yourself and growing, because of it. And
I love it, dude. I'm down to work on the next one with you too. Just let me know.
Yeah. Well, it's coming. It's in 2 months, basically 2 months.
You already got it written and stuff?
Yeah. Like,
shoot it over to me. I'd like to read it.
Yeah.
Because the first one was great.
Yeah.
You're a great writer.
Thank you. Well, I've been helped a lot by the other writers. It's been a process of like doing it together. It's like, the one scene that I would say that I would take credit for is the only scene was the bar scene where I'm talking to Colton. Cause that was
a good scene.
That was the one scene where I was like, this was real. I remember coming to this place and talking to Colton and him being like,
hey, you really had that same conversation with him?
Similar.
Bro, we ran those lines for like 3 fucking hours and he couldn't. I was like, dude, and you've already had this conversation in real life. Come on.
Yeah. No, that's how it goes. You got to run it and run it and run it and run it.
Well, and then the cameras and lights, and it makes people like get all anxious and stuff. That's why I'm so fortunate that I've been doing it for long enough now that I started my like 20s. So I've been doing it now forever. So when I get on set, it's like, whatever, let's do it.
Yeah. That's I can see that when that's that comfortability that you need. Cause if the crew is freaked out, that doesn't, especially when the talent gets, they feel it. You have to have them calm so they can calm down,
So I would like, I think we'll wrap up around here, but I would like for you to give us some last words on the masturbation topic. If there are any kids out there that are dealing with this, like what would you recommend to them?
I would recommend trying to stop. If you feel that you need to stop and you have an inkling, try. Because you don't know how much you're gripping onto something until you start trying to let it go. Like that's the main thing. And then if that's the case, look for help, because there are people that are struggling, and the more we get together and the more we talk about it and the more that we come together and find solutions, the sooner that we can face our emotions that we're trying to get away from, do whatever we're doing, that's unhealthy. We can turn it around, because that's what it's all about. It's just, we have to be real about this, because it's going to come out. Like it's you're pushing something that's, I don't know. That's my main thing. Just try and let it go. And if you don't, if you can't let it go more than you thought, then seek help. There's help. So, yeah.
Well, I think those are wise words, Chance. Thank you for coming in today, man.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate it.